You have submitted a job application for a bank or tech job. Congratulations. They have just invited you to an interview. Now, what's next? If you wondered what the interview process is like applying for a banking or tech job, fret not. I will be sharing with you my experience with interviewing at a bank and a tech company. Hopefully this is useful for you in your own interview process. In this video, we will be going through what to expect for the interview, the process, people involved, types of questions, and the expected timeline for both bank and tech interviews. Let's get started right away. Pre-COVID pandemic, interviews were usually conducted on-site, where you have to physically go to the office and meet the interviewers. However, things are different post-pandemic, with many interviewers favoring virtual interviews via Zoom or other video telephony software program instead. For virtual interviews, make sure that you are in a well-lit room with minimal distractions. Download the video telephony software beforehand and test the connection and the link provided, along with your audio and speaking device. Make sure the video camera is at eye level, and check yourself and your surroundings on the screen. If your room is in a mess, it is advisable to blur out the surroundings. If you have a second monitor, it is fairly common to have your prepared notes shown on the second monitor. Just be sure to take quick glances at it instead of staring at your notes the entire time during the interview, else your interviewer might notice. It is also quite common for interviewers to be looking at a separate screen instead of you, and typing their notes away, as they might have a certain list of fixed questions to ask you in the interview, so please don't be offended if they do. Dress code-wise, if you are going for a banking job interview, it is still advisable to wear a shirt with a tie for guys from the top up, and office wear for the ladies, where it is visible from the video call. If you are going for a tech job, the attire is more casual, and you may wear t-shirts if you liked. I have had interviews with tech workers who were wearing pajamas. Once you have received an invitation for progressing into the interview stage of the job application process, you should find details on the interview process in the email to you by Human Resource, known as HR for banks, or in tech companies, they are termed as talent acquisition. For the remainder of the video, I will just use HR in short, but they basically mean the recruiters. HR may choose to call you instead to brief you on the process, but basically the details should be provided to you. If they are not provided, please don't be shy and contact HR to find out the details. I will go through the remainder of the video by splitting into bank interviews and tech interviews. For those who are interested in what to expect for tech interviews, please feel free to skip ahead. So, how many rounds of interviews to expect? For a bank job interview, on average expect between 1 to 3 rounds of interviews, with each interview ranging from 30 minutes to 1 hour. The interviewers might differ from bank to bank, but it would typically involve your direct line manager in one of the rounds, with the other interviewers possibly consisting of your manager's manager, potential colleagues and HR. There might be a panel interview consisting of several colleagues as well. It is rare to have more than 5 rounds for a bank interview, but it is still possible, as I have encountered such cases previously. The time zone of interviews should usually be similar to yours as well, as teams and managers are most commonly located within the same time zone, if not country and city. There won't be much information provided by HR for interview preparation, so you would have to research online yourself. Find out some general information about how the bank is doing and news related to your role. Also prepare questions to ask your interviewers as well. What are the questions to expect? Be prepared for technical questions, which are related to the role. An example is if you are applying for a market risk manager position, you might be asked questions like explain how to calculate VAR, or what are the Greek sensitivities and risks of a swaption. You might also be asked on your past experiences and some behavioral questions as well, but the bulk would be a focus on your past experiences and knowledge about the role. If your role requires some coding, they might ask you some coding questions, but there usually isn't a coding test unless you are applying for an information technology role. Expect HR to revert to you within 1 to 2 weeks if you have progressed onto the next round of interview, as they are usually in a sequential flow. If they do not get back to you within 2 weeks, please check back with them, as there is a high tendency for recruiters to ghost you if you do not progress to the next round. That's all to expect for a bank job interview. Now, let's move on to a tech job interview. Expect at least 5 rounds of interviews, with each interview ranging from 30 minutes to 45 minutes. They usually involve your direct line manager in one of the rounds, various stakeholders from other teams, or team leads and colleagues. Interview rounds with HR are usually to get to know you better, and not really an assessment of you. Timing of interviews might be messy depending on which country you are in. As I am based in Singapore, my manager and colleagues could be in Dublin or US West Coast, and so I might have evening, late night, or even early morning interviews. The team might stretch across multiple geographical locations, and so expect interviews in different time zones. After HR has confirmed that you progress onto the subsequent round of interviews, they will send you an information booklet. I would highly recommend that you read it thoroughly and research the tech company's website on their culture, as tech companies have a strong emphasis on hiring based on fit-to-company culture. Learn about their product offerings as well. They might ask you questions about their products, what do you like or dislike about it, and ask you for suggestions on improvement points about them as well. Apart from this, they will ask many behavioral questions as well. Each interviewer usually has a different focus area, which they will ask you about. You may check with the recruiter on this. To answer the behavioral questions, use the STAR approach, which is most commonly used. If your role requires some coding, you might have to sit for an online code test where you are given a problem statement, and you have to code the solution within an allotted time. Visit LeetCode and other coding websites to prepare for this. Similarly to a bank interview, expect HR to revert to you within 1 to 2 weeks if you have progressed onto the next round of interview, as they are usually in a sequential flow. Tech hours usually do not ghost candidates, and they will inform candidates even if they do not progress to the next stage. However, if they do not get back to you within 2 weeks, please do check back with them. So, that's it for what to expect for how the interview process is like for a bank and a tech company. Here is a brief summary of what we have just gone through in this video. Feel free to pause and review the points shown on the screen. Do you have any thoughts or comments about the interview process? Feel free to leave them in the comment box below. And all the best and good luck for those of you who are going for an interview. If you liked this video and would like to see more content of this nature, please be sure to like and subscribe as well. Thanks for watching, and until next time.